everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Jyoti, your spiritual bestie, your spiritual guide, and in this video I'm going to remind you and make you aware why you are actually very exhausted. What is the real reason behind it? And if you know me, if you've watched my videos, you know I go deep. So subscribe to my channel, recommend my channel to your friends, and for book one-on-one session you can check out the link in my description. So the one of the reason why you are really exhausted is because you have been trying to maintain relationships that are unworkable, and you have been participating in the patterns that are not fulfilling, like patterns to have relationships that you have learned from your childhood in a dysfunctional dynamic. And forget about relationships with your friends or with your lovers. Real relationship, your first relationship was with your parents, with your family, and the kind of patterns that you learned from there is so dysfunctional. You learned in that environment that in order to have relationships, you have to sacrifice your well-being. You have to sacrifice your good. In order to have relationships, you have to constantly please, or you have to constantly act according to the other person. You cannot, be with those people and also have your own emotions. Like in my family, I was never allowed to be sad. Like so many things were happening. I was getting physically abused, sexually abused. There was a lot of violence. There was chaos, but still I was not allowed to be sad about it. I was not allowed to, cry about it. So when I would have friendship, there was no, I could not be sad or be all of that, I just have to constantly please the other person. And there are so many patterns we have picked up, so many. One of the other things I would do to have friendships was that I would steal money from my aunt's wallet, because I was growing up with my uncle and auntie. My parents were in village, and my auntie and her sons were like such a torture for me. They made fun of me, bullied me. Like I was living with bullies, okay, like monsters. It was like that for me. As a child, all these adults are like, some big people for us. So it was very, very hard. And so I learned, my self-esteem got so low, and I was like, okay, fine. Indirectly I learned this about myself, like, okay, nobody would like to talk to me because of course I'm so shitty, of course if my aunt is beating me up, if I'm getting sexually molested, so definitely something is wrong with me, because as child we don't have the capacity to think like, what, that other person could be wrong. They could be wrong, it is their fault. They are emotionally immature. They don't know how to treat nicely. We don't have as a child this capacity to think like that. We automatically make it mean that this is my fault. There is something wrong with me. So because I was living with that kind of belief, I felt like nobody would like to be friends with me. So I just found this, pattern, like, okay, I can steal some money and give it to people in my classmate, girls in my class, and then I can give it to them, and then they will talk to me. So that was a very shitty pattern. And in adulthood also, like, then I would have to keep doing things for the other person to have connection. And until I became aware of this pattern in me, and my eyes started to heal my self-worth, I'm like, okay, I'm worthy because I'm existing, my intentions are so pure, and so people would like, I'm a gift. My presence is such a healing gift that the other person can have. That's when this dynamic started to change, and I started to feel much more calmer, because there is no stress, because connection is something that thrives us in this life. We want connection, but if we are constantly worried, like, we need to keep pleasing, keep giving to have connection, that's a lot of stress. And especially when we have all these dynamics and patterns, You know, like how, ask yourself, like it's take a very, it's very, it's going to be a bit hard, but look at it, like how is your mother's relationship with the father? How does she get her needs met? How does she get the money from the father? Or like how is her relationship with her brother, her, her family? What is her family like, and what is your father's relationship with your father? Like my grandfather keep tormenting my father for, just keep abusing him for no reason at all. Like it's that lowers your self esteem, when someone is constantly speaking to you in a very poor way, and then we make it mean that's how relationships are. 3 days back I was having a conversation with somebody, and that person told me, like, you know what, we are nice to each other because we are not close. If we were to be like very close with each other, we would be very demeaning. Then I was like, I had to correct that person. I was like, this is a false pattern that we have learned from our families, because everybody is speaking so harshly with each other. Especially when we grew up in dysfunctional homes. If you grew up in a very nice and healthy home, then that would not be the pattern. But conflicts happen in every relationship, in every family, but how they get dealt with. So if I would have a conflict with my mother or with my auntie, then the result would be I am being beaten up like until I'm unconscious, okay? And then I will be made fun of, and then I will be bitched about in the same house that I'm living in. Oh my god, I started to have PTSD because of that, and I started to, like, not I was like, okay, people are not safe. Because of course people are not safe if you are growing up around these kind of people. So anyway, I had to correct that person. I was like, this is not how healthy relationships are. That's a false pattern we have learned from our families. Okay. And so the real reason why you are exhausted, and we are all fucking exhausted, because our relationships are so poor. They are being built on the foundation of gaslighting, where people are constantly lying to each other, trying to manipulate each other, trying to take advantages of each other, and how is the money being treated in your family? It depends a lot, because same dynamics are going to be repeated in the friends. So you gotta clear that energy around it. First step, how do you clear that energy? How do you clear this icky energy? First step, you admit that yes, this is going on and this is not working at all. This is making my emotional health go down into drains. This is tiring me physically, mentally, emotionally. This is not working. First you admit. Second step is you set an intention that I intend to heal these icky patterns. One of the things that I was doing, that I was setting that intention, like, okay, I intend to heal the fear around money, the nervousness around money in my family lineage within me. Because I know all these patterns that I'm seeing. It's a very hard thing, to see, like, okay, all these people that I've been hating, these patterns are inside of me. These ancestral patterns. That's why it did not start with you. All these patterns did not start with you. They were already running, in our family lineages. There is a book also, It Did Not Start With You. I have not read it, but I know what it is about, because someone I really admire, they were talking about it. But anyway, so second step is you set an intention, like, okay, I intend to heal that fearful pattern within me. I intend to heal this anxiousness around money, around people within me. And then you write, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And you keep writing 2, 3, 4 pages. Your commitment to clearing this icky energy, I would wake up and I would write for 1 or 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours and 4 hours. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And it's a everyday commitment to clearing these energy, these patterns. And then you become, the more you commit yourself to it, you will start to become aware, like, okay, what all patterns that I have that are exhausting me. It's very exhausting to have relationships when you are having them by sacrificing yourself, by pleasing the other person, when you just have to say yes, constant yes to the other person, because you are afraid, like, okay, if I say no, then they might get angry and they might start to beat me up, or they might leave me, because that was happening, right? Whenever you said no in your family, or whenever you expressed, like, okay, I'm not okay with that, so either you got made fun of, or either you were looked at in a very bad way, or looked down upon, or like you got beaten up. So, and that's how you start to learn, like, okay, maybe I'm not worth it, maybe there is something wrong with me, that's why I'm not able to have good relationships. But there is never anything wrong with you, never. That is the result. Whatever patterns you have to manipulative patterns also, they are the result that you were around some environment, and to protect yourself, to survive, you adopted all these patterns. But now you have to understand that you are safe, and it's okay to let go of these patterns, and you will only let go when you become aware of them. I have a free guided meditation that can really help you in becoming aware. You can get that from the link in the description. Also, you can book a one-on-one session with me, so that we can dive deep, what's happening, what's not happening, for you, to make you aware, and how can you further create a life, make choices, what you can do to make your life much better, easier, calmer for yourself. And that also builds your self-esteem, self-confidence. 90-minute session with me, super powerful. And yes, you are exhausted because you're trying to sustain relationships that are unworkable through patterns that are very exhausting. Okay, all these patterns, man, we are better off without them, and real relationship will not require you to sacrifice yourself in any way. Because suppose if you and I are in a relationship, my intention to be with you is that I want the highest good. I want the win-win scenario. I will not be able to be happy by manipulating you, by knowing that, okay, you are sacrificing so much. No, I won't be happy. Whereas if we are together and I love you and I want to see you happy, I would do those things, because I know seeing you happy makes me happy. So that's completely different dynamic, and our families, we learned that when they gave us something, it felt like a burden. Whenever they gave us something, it felt like so much burden. So now we are closed off to receiving, and it blocks our abundance and prosperity that God wants to bring into our lives. To open our hearts, do my meditation. It's absolutely free, very, very helpful. It will help you opening your heart also. So yeah, I'm here for you. I love you. Book a one-on-one session with me. I have very high vibrational paintings like this for you. This one says, taking a leap of faith on myself. And this is a real piece that you will get. I'll frame it and send it to you. And another one that I'm working on is God's ease, God's peace, God's prosperity flows effortlessly in every single area of my life. I'm still working on it, so it's not up yet. But yeah, check this one out. And I have other one, I'm safe, I'm supported. You will get the canvas print of it. Wow, super powerful frequency that I channeled. So check him out. Comment down below how this video helped you. I'm here for you. I love you. Subscribe to my channel.